and prayed, though I have seen my head grown slightly bald.
During this classroom scene in It Follows, David Robert Mitchell uses the visible space to produce paranoia by letting the frame give the audience enough information to understand the danger, but not enough to control it, which makes the environment become spatially liable, meaning every visible area within the frame remains potentially relevant to the character's survival. And because the threat in the movie advances slowly through a deep focus composition, the horror emerges from recognition rather than traditional jump scare. The director refuses to hide the monster behind any edit or darkness. In traditional horror, nighttime keeps the normal world from the abnormal, and darkness acts as a barrier that hides the abnormality. But this scene blended abnormality into an everyday setting. The surrounding student extras create a baseline of normality against which the threat abnormal movement becomes measurable. But deep focus can also turn a background into a second narrative plane. In The Shining, Stanley Kubrick transforms spatial knowledge into dramatic irony. In the scene where Jack Torrance examines a miniature model of the hedge maze, the camera pushes in until his wife and son become visible inside it. Through this scale distortion, Kubrick establishes the power dynamic, the predator versus the prey, before a single action is taken. But deep focus does not automatically create horror, it creates responsibility for the viewers first. And the best example of this is in the beach sequence in 1975 Jaws. Steven Spielberg repeatedly makes the audience search an apparently ordinary environment. The water's surface is visually open, leaving too many possible locations for danger. But this openness creates an attention burden because the viewers must monitor more spatial information than Chief Brody can realistically control. Where It Follows makes visibility produce recognition, Jaws makes visibility produce uncertainty. But Alfred Hitchcock proves deep focus is only one solution to preserving spatial information. In his movie titled The Birds, the protagonist Melanie Daniels sits outside a school while crows quietly accumulate behind her. The horror depends on making Melanie fail to register what the audience registers. Through cross-cutting and delayed reactions, the audience's knowledge on the threat increases while Melanie remains oblivious. This proves that horror does not require jump scare or an unknown threat. It requires a gap between visibility and character attention. In Midsommar, Ari Aster destroys the traditional rule of horror movies, where daylight equals safety for characters and night equal horror. This is seen throughout the film, but the best case for this is during the cliff ritual scene. The violence here is wrapped in the beauty and comfort of the daylight. Deep focus works because it refuses to tell you where to look, forcing you to look for the threat yourself.